you guys typically do another training platform where I was talking with Haley and you got like nobody can show their face. And I actually specifically requested we do Zoom so I can see lovely faces out there because I love to do lots of interaction and get feedback from the crowd. So I highly encourage you. Yes, yes. Okay. I see some more people like show your face on here. I like to be energetic. I like to see people's faces because I like to see people's vibes because if I go through some stuff, I can read by your face. There we go. There we go. Hand waves. Yes, yes. I love seeing lovely faces on here. But sometimes and when that feedback in the room, it makes me excited, makes me want to deliver more for you guys. So happy to be here. Haley and the rest of the CNC team asked me to come on here to talk to you guys about retargeting and running ads with social media because it's a subject that doesn't get covered a lot across a lot of other platforms. It's something I specialize in. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Will Draper at It's Will Draper on Instagram. I am a licensed real estate agent, have been licensed for quite a while, but over the past few years, I've been spending all of my time coaching and consulting with agents to teach them how to build their business with social media, Google, and YouTube, because it's exactly how I went from honestly being completely flat broke to selling $20 million a year, all from social media. And that was before I even knew how to use ads. So what I'm going to go through here today, and I like these sessions to be interactive. If you do have a laptop close by and you want to follow along, that would be rad. I also say anytime you guys have any questions, I just want you to hit the hand raisy thing at the bottom of the screen. If you take your cursor and roll it over the bottom, if you're used to Zoom, you can see where you can raise your hand. When we're going through this, I'm probably not going to be able to see the chat, but if you do have questions, Haley and the CNC team, if you guys can just monitor the chat and let me know if any questions come up as we go through this. So from you lovely people that have your faces on the screen and your cameras are turned on, let me get a show of hands of anybody on here who has ever boosted a post on Instagram or Facebook. Raise your hand. So you know how to boost a post. Congratulations, you've all burned money. Yes, I say that with a loving heart, but if you've ever pressed the boost button, you have lost money because boost, you have zero control over who sees your content. No control whatsoever. Not in the geography, not what their interests are, not where they're located, not if they already follow you or have engaged with your content. You're essentially lighting money on fire. Okay, raise your hand again if you boost a post, and it's okay. It's okay. This is not a test. Raise your hands again if you boost a post. Come on, raise your hands if you boosted a post. Okay. Now, lower your hand if you did it once and then stop doing it. Only keep your hand raised if you constantly boost posts all the time. Okay, so there's like 4 or 5 people that constantly boost posts all the time. You're actually doing better than the ones who didn't boost again. I know that seems counterintuitive, but the way you win with running ads on Instagram and Facebook is by not stopping. Once you start to run ads, you never want to stop again because the inconsistency is what kills your reach. The more and longer you run the ads, the more dialed in the platform is going to find your audience is actually going to work better for you. One of the clients I worked with over the past few years, we implemented the same strategy I'm going to share with you here today. And as a brand new agent, in his first year, he closed 60 transactions. Pretty darn good, right? Year 2, 125 transactions, and year 3, 250 transactions. I'd say 70% of the people that follow the strategy I'm going to share with you here today double or triple their business within the next 2 years. The problem is most people don't commit to doing it for that long a period of time. I know making content is hard and planning content is hard, which is why you guys are a part of the CNC community because they help you with that. They provide such great resources for you. So I'm going to teach you how to take that and basically put gasoline on a fire. Okay. I'm going to be sharing my screen throughout this process. If you have questions, raise your hand. This is going to be technical. So as this is saved, if you have somebody that helps you with marketing, if you have somebody that helps you run ads, if you have a tech person with you, make sure to share this with them. Take copious notes from this. I tend to be very practical, very tactical. I don't like a lot of fluff. You're not going to hear a bunch more stories. I told you the success story of one of my clients that we did this with. We've repeated that with so many more. So I am going to go behind the scenes and show you exactly how to do targeting and retargeting with your Instagram and your Facebook ads. Can I get a thumbs up from everybody if that's cool with you guys? Right? Cool. All right. Any questions before we get started? Any at all? If you do, raise your hand, unmute yourself, and start speaking. Any questions? No? Okay, rock on. So I'm going to go to share my screen, and then I'm going to ask you for another thumbs up to make sure that you are seeing it. So I just shared my screen. Can you guys see the Facebook Ads Manager? Thumbs up, right? Okay, cool. Now, if at any point in time I glitch out, I look fuzzy, or the screen stops moving and I'm talking, somebody please speak up. Our internet went down today where I'm at. There's a power outage where the transformer thing is, and I'm on my 5G on my phone. So if it freaks out, please let me know and I'll pause and let it catch back up, okay? All right, so we're inside the Meta Ads Manager, and a lot of people do ask me, okay, where do I get to the Meta Ads Manager? The best thing I can tell you to do is go to Google, type in Meta Ads Manager. It's going to come up to the top of the Google search, and then you are going to bookmark that. I always have it bookmarked at the top of mine, okay? When you're inside the Meta Ads Manager, before you even think about running an ad, we need to talk a little bit about strategy, okay? There's two types of ads you can really run. Ads that I call are targeted and ads that are retargeted. Who knows what retargeting is? Raise your hand. You might know what retargeting is. Okay, the first hand I saw was Megan Riley. So you get to unmute yourself and we're going to talk for a second. I told you I make these interactive. You're not prepared to talk. You're going to talk. Let's go, Megan. Come on. I told you I was going to do this.
My hand was up by accident. I didn't mean to raise my hand.
Well, we get to talk to you anyway. So where are you from, Megan?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay. I just came back from speaking in Atlanta like 2 weeks ago. So I was actually in Marietta, which was, I guess, northwest of Atlanta. Yeah, I was speaking at an event there. Okay, cool. Yeah. So when I say retargeting, what do you think?
Shifting who sees my ads.
Okay, shifting who sees your ads. So if I was retargeting, who would see them?
If like I know when I've done my ads, I get to select by like how close they are to me and age range. So if I'm retargeting, I would assume that I would either expand or change what that is and how far out it goes.
You could. What if I told you you could retarget anybody that watched a listing video you put out? Or you could retarget anybody that's ever commented on a post you made, or people that watched a particular video, or your database, or all of your friends. Wouldn't that be pretty cool?
Yeah, I really like that.
Okay. Well, that's what we're going to do. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Back in the Meta Ads Manager guide. Before we run any ads, we want to set up our custom audiences. Okay. Like I said, I'm very practical and tactical. I take a very teacher approach. There's no PowerPoint presentation here, no Canva presentation. I just like get behind the scenes and do this. Okay. So when you're in your Meta Ads Manager, on the left-hand side, you're going to see an audiences tab. I want you to click on the audiences tab. If you have your laptop or your computer up, please follow along, okay? Once we get inside of your audiences tab, once it finishes refreshing on my 5G phone network right now, you're going to see I have a bunch of audiences, but I'm going to have you ignore those for right now. We're going to hit create audience. You're going to ignore Sage. You're going to ignore lookalike right now. We're just going to focus on custom, okay? You're going to click on custom audiences. Now we're going to stay on this page for a few minutes and discuss what exactly it is that we're looking at here. It says your sources and meta sources, okay? We can create a custom audience and it says your website. So what is that? Who's got a website for the real estate business, whether it's an IDX or whether it's a website that has your blog on it or something like that, right? I'd say like 60, 70% of people do. You can create an audience of people that have logged into your website over whatever time period you want. The past 3 months, the past 6 months. You can even target what pages they've been to on your website. So one of the first audiences you're going to want to set up is a custom audience based on your website. So you select website and you're going to hit next. And what we're doing first, we're building all the audiences we're going to target to when we run the ads. Most people skip the audience step, which is where most people go wrong. You want to set your audiences first, and we build our ads around our audiences, okay? So in order to set up an audience based on your website, you do have to have a pixel installed on your website. If you have a pixel installed on your website, raise your hand. Ooh, just a couple, just a couple. Okay. So for your website, If you have like Luxury Presents or Real Geeks or Lofty or any of those, raise your hand. Any of those like normal websites. Yeah. Okay. Whoever your admin is at that website, you're going to reach out and you're going to share with them your Facebook pixel. And if you're asking the question, where do I get my Facebook pixel? Go to Google and type in, where's my Facebook pixel? Meta's help section will come up and it'll tell you exactly where to go grab or create your pixel. Okay. If you have a website that is maintained by your team and it just has your name hung off of the end of it, sorry to tell you, you can't do this. Okay. But if you've ever had a landing page or like a link tree, right? Do you send people to your link tree, right? That's a website that you can use. Yes. You send people to your link tree, you can work with pixels and work with your link tree. What I'm going to say is anybody that's been to my website who has visited there within the past, I'm going to say 6 months. So I can retarget anybody that's been to my website in the past 6 months. That's one of the first audiences you want to create. So it says days here. So 185 is about 6 months. You're going to put 180 days right here. And you're just going to see events, all website visitors, people have visited specific web pages, time they spend on. I'm just going to say anybody that's been to our website. That's where we're going to start. Now, if you get really fancy later, we can actually target people who went to see specific listings, right? So if you're targeting a particular farm, you can create a subset of that. But for right now, I just want you guys to say all website visitors. You're going to give it a name, just say website visitors, and don't worry about description. Then you just hit create. That's it. That's the first audience you're going to create is your website. So I'm going to hit back right now. App activity, ignore it. Don't pay attention to it whatsoever. Catalog, ignore it. Don't pay attention to it whatsoever. Offline activity, ignore it. Don't pay attention to it. Customer lists, absolutely. This is your database. Who uses Follow Up Boss or any type of online CRM? Raise your hand. Okay. Quite a few of you use an online CRM. You know how you can export your database out and it gives you an Excel file or a CSV file? This is what you use. So past clients, your friends, your sphere, anybody in there that has a name and or an email and phone number. Just a name usually will not work, but a name and or a piece of contact information, right? Now, if I'm going to get kind of nerdy here, right? In your database, in your CRM, let's say Jane Doe is one of your past clients and she has a work email that you have in there. Do you think she created her Facebook account with her work email? She did not, right? So you're going to want her personal email. Which one did you send your contract DocuSign to? That's probably the one. So you might want to do a little bit of database cleanup to make sure you're getting as many people as possible. Okay. So when you do your customer list, I'm just going to hit next. I'm not going to go through the process. It's going to take too long. They're going to give you a default file template, right? That file template is going to be a spreadsheet. I'm just going to click download and see if I can actually download it. Yes, I can. So I'm on a Mac right now. So it's going to show up in like that weird, like Mac spreadsheet thing. So this is what it looks like. Can everybody still see my screen and see a spreadsheet? Head nods. Yeah, cool. Okay. See where it has email, email, email. If you have multiple emails, email 1, 2, and 3. If you have multiple phone numbers, 1, 2, and 3. If you don't have this information, you're just going to delete these columns. So if you have one email and one phone number, you just ignore these other columns. Okay. You can leave this blank. You have first name, last name, and then it might have their address. You should be able to take your database and change it into this spreadsheet. Now, a lot of people will just take their spreadsheet of their database export and upload it to Facebook. When you do that, you can run into issues with them matching field to field. I highly recommend you edit the export you get. If you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to do that, ask your kid that's in high school or your middle schooler. They're going to know how to do it, right? So get this spreadsheet updated with your database. You're going to upload it and you're going to get confirmation. This is now your database of people. If you have, who has an email list that they've been building for a newsletter? Raise your hand. You want to create a custom audience, not only just off your database, but your email list, right? That way you can retarget anybody that's signed up for your emails, because I guarantee you, you don't have a one-to-one match between your database and your email list. Not very many people know it. Somebody has a MailChimp and you're like, I have 2,000 people in my MailChimp and 1,000 people in my database. Create one for each. That way we can select each audience and retarget them so we don't miss anybody. We all good? Good so far? Am I going too fast? We all good? Okay, awesome. I'm going to go back. So those are the first 2 or 3 audiences you're creating. Now, the next thing we're going to do under Meta sources. So Meta will stand for Facebook and Instagram in this scenario. I'm going to click Instagram account. I'm going to hit next. You can include anybody who has visited your profile, anybody who's sent you a message, or started following you. Okay. Any follower. So you can create 2 different audiences, Instagram followers or Instagram engagers. What's the difference? Engagers are people that have liked or watched a through play of your video or commented. Who do you think is the most likely to work with you? The people that have watched, liked, and commented, or just people that have followed you? The engagers. Okay. So you're going to create people who have engaged with your account. And I like to say the past year. That's kind of the default. And I just roll with that. Okay. If you do followers, I guarantee you everybody on here has bot followers from somewhere in India. Right. And you've gotten some weird comments sometimes or weird direct messages, people trying to sell you stuff. You don't want to retarget them. That's wasting your money. Okay. So focus on people who have engaged with your account. Okay. That's the next audience you create. So recap, your website is an audience you create. Your customer list, and that could be an email list and your database. So you could create 2 there. Then people who have engaged with your Instagram account. And now we have Facebook page. We can also do the same thing. Now, Facebook pages, I have a love-hate relationship with them because they pretty much get no reach and nobody looks at them. But how many of us have asked people to like our Facebook page, and our friends in our sphere begrudgingly like our Facebook page, but then never look at it? Yes, all of us. Yes, we can all shamefully nod our heads yes there. But we can retarget them because they were kind enough to like it. And that's what we're going to do. Okay. So people who have engaged with your page, which means they've liked it, they've actually said something on there. It's going to be a very small audience. Okay. But we want to capture that. Okay. We're going to do it in the past year, because if you, like most people, you probably haven't posted to your Facebook page in the past year. I know you, I see you out there. And then create your audience name and description. That's the next custom audience you need. Okay. Now we've done your Instagram account and your Facebook page. Now, video. Let's talk some strategy around this. So what exactly is video? So we can create a custom audience. We can choose our engagement type. So who here makes video content, I hope, on either your Instagram or your Facebook, especially with all the awesome templates Coffee and Contracts gives you? Raise your hand. All right, awesome. Almost everybody, right? So we can target people who have viewed at least 3 seconds, 10 seconds, what they call a through play. Now, if you're doing the short B-roll videos, you're going to be looking at the people who have viewed at least 3 seconds. If you're doing a home tour walkthrough where you're doing 15 seconds or more, so if you're doing a voiceover, if you have an actual listing video, or if you do a local business highlight where you're talking with the owner or walking through doing a voiceover, something a little bit longer, you would want to select something like through play. So that's somebody who spent at least 15 seconds watching your video, right? That is the definition of through play for Meta. Now, here's the cool thing, right? We can pick people who have, and it says select videos right here. I might come in, and this is one of the clients that I work with, and we're going to say, you know what? I want to select people who have watched at least 15 seconds of her monthly market update. What does that mean? That means we can retarget people who have watched at least 15 seconds of a real estate specific video somebody has created. That means we're retargeting people that are highly engaged with our real estate specific content. Does that make sense? Right? You can select any video. If you put a banging listing video out and you're like, oh my God, like this one did really, really well, we can retarget people that watch that video. Why would we want to do that? Because it moves them down the funnel of know you, like you, trust you, reach out to you. Okay. So that's another custom audience you can do. I'm going to come back to this later and I will mention it again later. So what do we have so far? We have custom audiences for our website, 1 or 2 customer lists, depending on how your business is set up, anybody that engages with your Instagram, anybody that engages with your business Facebook page, and potentially a video. So we've got 5 or 6 custom audiences now. Those are our retargeting audiences. Okay. That means the people that already know you, like you, trust you, the people that watch your content, engage with your content, visit your website, you can now ensure that they're going to see every post that you ever make. Wouldn't that be awesome? Because a lot of times, doesn't it feel like you post something, you're like, is anybody actually watching this shit? Right? Who feels that sometimes? Who feels that? Like, is anybody actually watching? Well, we can force people to watch it all we want for a very, very small budget. Because being in real estate, it's not necessarily about going viral. And I think Haley has said this plenty of times. It's about being locally viral. How can we ensure as many local people see our content? Well, one of the strategies I'm going to teach you is how to ensure you get more local followers and then retarget the followers who are the highest engaged, which moves them closer to your inner circle of people who want to work with you. Okay. That's what we're going to be doing the rest of this. Okay. So the first half of this training, we just went through how to set up custom audiences. Now, once you set these up, let's talk about maintenance. Okay. Your website, once it's set up once, you don't need to recreate that custom audience. Your database, you will need to update that periodically. Your Instagram engagement audience, you don't ever need to change. It continually updates. Your Facebook engagement audience, it continually changes. You don't need to update it. For me, I like to update my customer list every couple months, right? Depending on how many people come in and out of your database, right? Sometimes we remove people because we're like, I don't want to work with them anymore. Or it's somebody who moved out of the area who you don't think is going to refer you anymore and you remove them from your database. Or you might have a whole bunch of new clients come in. You want to make sure they get retargeted with your content that may not have engaged with your social, but they're in your database. Okay. So that's what you need to think about with maintenance. Now that we have those custom audiences, we actually want to create campaigns. Okay. I want to give you a campaign that I call my all-in-one. Okay. This campaign was the same one that I mentioned earlier, that one of my clients went from 0 transactions being a brand new agent to 250 deals in his first 3 years. And everybody wants to know, how much did it cost? His first year was $20 per day. Let's do the math on that. So I got a pen, pencil. So $20 per day, right? So that is what? $600 per month, right? Times 10 months, $6,000. So just under $8,000 of a marketing budget for the entire year to close 60 transactions. Who think that's a good return on investment? Right? So at the end of that first year, and remember, brand new agent, first year in the business, posted 3 times per week, and we used this campaign for $20 per day. At the end of that first year, he was like, Will, what do I do to double my business? And at that point, 100% of his business came from Instagram. And I said, double your ad spend. And he's like, that's it? And I was like, I'm a simple guy. If all your business comes from this, 100% of it, and you want to double your business, let's double your ad spend. So his marketing budget went from $7,500 a year to $15,000 a year. Who spends $15,000 a year on marketing, farming, old school tactics? Yeah, I see some hand raisers, right? How much does that return, right? So he made $800,000 in his second year in real estate, spending $15,000. I think that's a pretty good return. So the campaign I'm going to show you is the exact one we had him set up. And I did it in a particular way because what it does, it continually builds your follower list and your retargeting list and automatically grows for you and with you. Okay. So now we're going to go to campaigns and I'm just going to hit create. Okay. Now let's talk about the different campaign types. Okay. The only 2 you really need to concern yourselves with are awareness and engagement. Okay. Let's talk about awareness. Awareness campaign is trying to reach as many people as possible and get video views. It's basically getting brand awareness. So as real estate agents, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get brand awareness. We're trying to get people to know who we are. Even if they already know us, we're trying to remind them who we are. Okay. Now let's look at engagement. For engagement, it's saying it's video views, but it's also conversations. Engagement is going to get more people to message and comment on your content versus simply show your content. Okay. Engagement is what I tell people to start working on in month 3 or 4 of this process, not from the beginning, because people don't know who you are. They're not going to spend a lot of time engaging with you. We want them to become aware of who you are, used to who you are, and then we switch over to the engagement type. Okay. So this routine I've set up with my clients in the past, we go awareness the first 3 months, maybe 4 months, depending on how it's going and depending on what their budget is. Okay. So we're going to start with awareness first. Engagement, you don't need to worry about right now. You would come back to that in a few months once you stay consistent with this routine. And it's very, very simple. Okay. So we're going to say awareness. So we're creating a new awareness campaign because we want as many people as possible to see you. Now, let me break down this dashboard because it can look a little bit confusing. You've got a table of contents right here and a table of contents right here. They take you to the same places. There are 3 levels in a real ad. Okay. Now, if you're on Instagram and you click on a post, you've got this blue boost post button. You do it on your phone, it's going to add an extra surcharge as well, right? But when you click on boost post, you're going to notice that if you've ever tried to do this before, right, you're not going to have a lot of options here. They can visit my profile. I have to select that it's a housing ad. And then it's going to say suggested audience. I can only build these because I don't have to select housing because I'm marketing to agents and not homeowners. But then that's all I get. I can't specify where it goes, who sees it, anything like that. That's what this actually allows us to do. There's a lot of buttons and we're going to skip most of them. So just write down what buttons we're actually going to mess with. Okay. So the campaign is the overall campaign. The smartest way to do this is to run 1 campaign per week. Okay. So let's say today is May 22nd. I typically just call my campaigns the day I start running them. I typically like to start running new campaigns either on a Friday or Monday. Why? Because it's convenient. There is no rhythm, rhyme, or reason to when you start or stop. You pick a day and you roll with it. Okay. Pick a day and roll with it. I tend to like to do mine mainly on Fridays. So I'm going to give it today's date because today's Thursday. We've already set these options. So we're going to leave all of the details alone. We're going to leave the budget alone. We're going to leave the A/B test alone. The only thing we're going to do now is specify our ad category. And hello, real estate agents, you have to specify housing if it's for listings, homeowners insurance, loans, anything related to opportunities for housing. Okay. There used to be a workaround for this because it said listings only, but you could give home buyer tips and do advertising behind it and get around the targeting, but they've changed that. So that workaround's no longer there. You select housing and then you have to specify your country. I know we probably have people from more than just the United States on here. So just let that go for the United States, leave everything else alone and you hit next. Okay. This level is called the ad set level. Okay. This is the level you do targeting. Okay. This is your targeting level. The ad level is where the actual ad or copy is going to be, the video, the post, whatever it is going to be. Is that understood? You guys got that? Right? So this is the ad set level. So I usually set ours up. So the campaign we set up, we're going to do 2 in 1. I call this campaign new people. Okay. So I'm trying to target new people in my area because I'm getting 100 views and 1 like by my aunt when I'm posting content. So I need to find more local followers. I've been posting the local business highlights. I've been posting the neighborhoods and the houses, and I'm just not getting any traction. This helps you get traction as long as you stay consistent with it. So we're going to do new people. You're going to leave max reach of ads because what we're trying to do right now, we're building awareness, correct? It's because we're struggling to reach people. We're going to build awareness in our local market. You do have to have it connected to a Facebook page. Okay. That doesn't mean you have to run the ads on Facebook. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but it has to be connected to a Facebook page. Listen very carefully here. When you're running ads on the Meta platform, if you just upload your post to Instagram and it does not go to your Facebook business page, you cannot run an ad in both locations with it. I know a lot of people post to Instagram and have it go right to their personal page, right? You're going to need those videos uploaded on your business page if you want to leverage this platform. That is a precursor, okay? I love posting my content on my personal page. I came up with a strategy to say, okay, these are the posts I'm going to run ads behind, and the stuff that goes on my personal page, I'm not going to worry about it. I just want just Sphere and people in my circle to see it, right? So keep that in mind. We're going to skip the rest of this stuff. You don't need to pay any attention to it. Now we're going to get down to budget, okay? Now, when it says daily budget, we're trying to reach new people. Who remembers the dollar amount I said with my client? $20 a day, right? Now, if you don't have $20 a day, then don't spend $20 a day. You can start and ease your way into this because every market's going to be different. Everybody's reach is going to be different. If you're in a small town versus a big city, your reach is going to be entirely different. If you're in Metro Atlanta versus Franklin, Tennessee, right? Two different things. If you're in South Dakota versus Orange County, California, your reach is going to be different. Use whatever budget makes sense to you, but hear me first. When everybody hears about farming, right? And they talk about farming with postcards, they're like, you got to stick to it for a year. You got to budget for it. You got to be like, all right, I can swallow my pride. I'm going to spend this $30,000 on farming postcards because I know I'm going to get 2 transactions out of it. You're not going to have to spend that amount of money, but you need to have the same level of commitment, right? Do the math and say, okay, for the next 12 months, can I spend $10 a day? $3,650. I would think most of us could spend that and feel somewhat comfortable. If you can't, can you do $5, right? The more you spend, the faster it's going to work because you're going to reach twice as many people. Somebody asked me a question at one time. They're like, how do I get 3 times as many people to open my email? Nobody's opening my email newsletter. I gave them a very simple answer, but other than like what? Subject lines and like making sure you're sending it to the right audience, send 3 emails. That's how you 3x your open rate is because you send 3 times as many. So the more money you put behind this, the more people are going to see it faster, right? So my client that started at $20 a day, he's like, I got to make this work. Most people would typically start at 10, but anything I see on Meta, $20 a day is really like, that's like entry level getting started. That's about $600 a month. If you're like, that's too rich for my blood, back it down to 10. Anything less than 10, I don't think is really going to do you any good. Okay. For the sake of argument for this call, I'm just going to say $10. Okay. I'm going to put in $10 in my daily budget. How long are we going to run this ad now? So it is 3:30 on the East Coast right now. So I'm going to say 5 o'clock just to make sure I'm not behind time. It's going to say set an end date. You're going to run this for 7 days. So next week, this time, 7 days, because we're running 1 ad per week. Okay. More on why we do that here in a minute. So you're going to set it for 7 days. You're going to ignore all this other stuff. And now we get down to audience, the good stuff. Okay. We're going to skip this for now because we're trying to reach who? New people, right? When we're reaching new people, it's going to ask for locations, right? So somebody in the chat, the first address I see, I'm going to use on here. Somebody give me an address of like the center of where they would want their ad to be run. So any address. All right. Cypress, Texas. That's the first thing I saw. So Cypress, Texas. Now you notice we get that 15-mile radius. That's okay because we're trying to reach a wider audience. So if you're in Cypress, you're trying to think about the buyers and the sellers you help in that area. Where are they coming from? Where are they going to? And it's funny. The client I was working with was actually in Houston that did this, which is kind of funny. What we did is we actually took his and we took it out to 30 miles. And he was focusing mainly on East Houston. So we wanted actually a wider reach because we wanted a wider bucket of new people. Okay. Now, based on where you are, think about where is anybody I'm working with currently living? Where is anybody I'm working with currently living? Okay. And then adjust this accordingly. Now, because we're in real estate and because we're targeting homeowners, buyers, and sellers, and we're trying to reach a new local audience with our content, we're actually not going to work on any detailed targeting yet. This is simply for reach to get brand exposure in a new audience, which is going to help build our retargeting audience. Okay. Because what are they going to do? The ones who like our content are going to engage with it. And then we're going to be able to do what? Retarget to them. So they're going to see all of our future content. Okay. Now we're skipping the rest of this. More on this later. Now, placements. Meta is going to say, we know the best place to put your content. They do and they don't all at the same time. Okay. So we're going to go in advantage placements and we're going to hit edit and we're going to hit manual. Okay. Now, when we hit manual, you're going to see a bunch of options. I'm going to turn off threads and audience network right now, which means I just have Facebook and Instagram turned on. You can run ads to both platforms at the same time. Now, typically, just from my personal perspective, I typically recommend growing on one audience versus the other, or one platform versus the other. If most of your people are on Facebook, I would probably focus on Facebook. If most of your people are on Instagram, I would probably focus on Instagram to grow that particular audience. If you're like, Will, I am split 50-50, well, then split it 50-50. Okay. For purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to focus on Instagram and I'm going to select a few options. Okay. Is that okay? If we need to come back and do the Facebook thing, we can. So I'm going to select Instagram, which means it's going to turn off all these things that are going to get targeted to Facebook. So we know it's going to show on the Instagram feed, the profile feed, Explore Home, Stories, and potentially Reels. Now, if it's not a Reel, it's not going to show up in Reels, right? Depending on what the ad is. We'll get more to the ads in a minute. Now, you may have to uncheck some of these, and I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. So right now we're going to target on Instagram and we're going to let it figure out everywhere to show it on Instagram. And this tells me we're probably going to reach a little over 2,000 people a day with our content in our local market for whatever this ad is, which I like. Okay. There's nothing else to select here. We're going to hit next. Okay. Now we're on the third level. The first level was the campaign. That's the actual campaign that we're running. The ad set level is the people that are going to see it. These are our new people in Cypress, Texas, and surrounding areas. And now it's the ad. The ad is simply going to be whatever your post is. Okay. We're not creating ads. We're reposting our content. So I'm going to take an example from one of my clients that I work with. And she gave it was a May market video. Okay. So her May market video, I'm just going to add that as the name. More on that in a minute. It's going to be tied to the Facebook pages. And instead of create ad, where it says ad setup, you're going to use existing post. And then it says add creative select post. So I'm going to select. Since I'm on Instagram, I'm going to click Instagram. And let's say I'm going to grab this video. Okay. So I'm going to grab this video. It grabs your caption from your caption already. You don't have anything to write. And it's going to come out and give you some AI generated stuff. Ignore that. It's going to give you a call to action button. Actually, I want you to turn that off and no button. The reason I don't want you to do a button is because this is for awareness. We're not trying to collect a lead here. We're trying to build brand awareness. Okay. Now we can set all this tracking and stuff. You're just going to ignore it. So you can see this is set up, right, to run as an ad now for May Market. Now, here's the beauty. Who posts more than one time per week? Raise your hand. Okay. The reason we create one campaign per week is because we take all of our content from that week and we promote it at the same exact time. So you don't have 50 million campaigns going. And then it's going to pick the best performing piece of content, whether it's a photo, a video, or a carousel, and promote that more than the other. Okay. Remember the budget we set? That budget, let's go in here. This budget would get split among all of these posts. So I'm going to go back to May market. So this was the market update. I'm going to hit quick duplicate. What that does is it adds another ad. So instead of that, this is going to be your post number 2. This is the other post you did that week. Let's say you're posting 3 per week, right? So this is your other post. So I would go back in. I'm going to hit change post. I'm going to select another video. Let's see, go back to Instagram. I'm just going to pick another random video. I'm going to hit continue. Obviously, you're not picking random. You're going to pick last week's content. So if you're doing this on Friday and you posted Monday, Wednesday, Friday, what do you select? Monday, Wednesday, Friday content, right? So tell you what, let me update this so it makes it more easy to see. So I'll say Monday's post. And this one's going to be Wednesday's post. And now we still need Friday's post. And let's pretend it's Friday today. I'm going to hit quick duplicate again. It's basically copying all the setting. And I'm going to say this is Friday's post. So if you only post 2 per week, you only have 2 here. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to change this to make sure it's a different post. I'm going to grab another video. I'm going to hit continue. And so now I have essentially one ad going to a new group of people in my target area, and it's splitting the budget amongst all of these. Now, we said $10 a day, correct? Which means it's only spending $70 for that week, not $10 a day per post. Does that make sense? Yes? So it's not 10 for that. You're like, oh, it's $30 a day now. No, it's not. It splits the budget amongst these, and the best performing video that reaches the right audience will get more of the budget. So you might have one of your pieces of content. You're like, it just didn't get that many more views. That means people weren't watching it. They were watching the others. So the platform pushed the post that was working the best, which is what you want them to do. Okay. So now what we've done is we've set up an ad. All we'd have to do now is hit publish, but that doesn't have anything to do with retargeting. So here's where the magic is. So we have new people. What I'm going to do, this same little action menu right here, I can click this and hit quick duplicate. I'm doing that again, just like I did over here. Now we have a whole new set. This says new people. Now I'm going to say this is my retargeting audience. Okay. The same posts, they're already set up, right? The same budget is already set up. What I tend to find, and you'll have to experiment with yours yourself, I like to spend twice as much for new people as I do retargeting people, because retargeting is a much smaller audience. So you're not going to reach as many people. It'll have a hard time spending your budget. Does that make sense? Right? It's going to have a hard time spending it. If you're like, I just want to experiment and I'm just going to do 10 and 10 to get to my $20 a day, that's a good place to start as well. I'm just going to leave it at that for this example. Now, the only thing else we change is we have to go down to the audience on our retargeting ad set, and it's targeting that location. But now where it says custom audiences, all you do is click here, and it's going to bring up all of the audiences you already built. So I can select my Instagram followers if I wanted to, my engagers. I can select my website visitors and my Facebook page visitors. So you see how it said my audience got really narrow, and now it's only going to be 600 people per day. But these are all people I am retargeting. So this is where all of the audiences you build go. Now, here's a decision to make. You notice we still have Cypress, Texas turned on, right? So still in that area. Now, if your database or your Instagram engagers live outside of that area, you might want to consider removing that. Okay. If you get a lot of agent to agent referrals, do you want to guarantee that they still see your content too? Maybe, right? So if I went in here, I might say, you know what? I want to market to anybody in my retargeting list. So I might come in and say, I don't want to do this, or I might make it as big as I can possibly make it to make sure I'm hitting as many people as possible. But this retargeting audience gets the same post as your new people. I set this at $10 a day, that at 10. And then all we would simply do now is hit publish. Okay. So what does that do? It finds us a new audience, right? It finds us a new audience in our local market. And guess what? As people watch your content, they like it, they share it, they save it, they comment on it, then what happens? They get moved automatically to your retargeting audience because it's the people who are engaging with your content, which means you're setting up a flywheel marketing approach. Reach new people. Those people like your stuff. Those people see your stuff twice as much. Now you're retargeting them. So it builds your entire retargeting database for you. You run this, and this is the only ad you would ever need to run. You update it once per week. All you do is you change out these posts. Now, what makes this really easy is you can duplicate this campaign. Okay. So once you hit publish, it'll go into your ads manager. I'm going to close this out. I'll let it save my draft for right now. So if you're in campaigns, let's say I want to take this retargeting post, I can hit duplicate, which means after you set this up one time, you can hit duplicate. It'll make a copy of it. And then what do? You go back in and all you do is change your posts. So what does that look like? Let's pretend this is the one that's my copy. I can go back into it. I'm going to hit edit right here, hit this little edit button. Then I can just go to my Wednesday post, and then I'm going to hit change post, and I change my post. I hit Friday, I change my post. Monday, change my post. Friday, change. Wednesday, change. Monday, change. Publish. That's it. So once you set it up one time, it's very easy to maintain. It'll probably take you 10 minutes a week. This first time around, it might take you 30 minutes, right? To set it up, maybe watch this back so you can go through it. But after that, every week, you can go in and reset this to whatever your standard budget is and let it roll, and you'll never have to change it again. And what it does, like I said, it reaches a whole new audience and it retargets everybody that already engages and sees all of your content. Now, earlier I alluded to when we were creating audiences, and this is the last thing before I open up to Q&A. So on the audiences, we talked about videos, right? Now, if you have a listing video that, I don't know if this is in your process or not, you're like, I want to make sure that the listing video gets extra reach because my sellers feel really good when I can get 20,000 views on a video because I quote unquote boost it, but you're going to run a real ad behind it now. You can create a custom audience for anybody that had that through play of that video. And then you can continue creating new custom audiences on people that are watching your listings or real estate specific stuff. You're like, hey, they watch 15 seconds of my market update video. That means they're probably pretty into this. I'm going to create another custom audience. You can continue to add custom audiences for people who watch those through plays of the videos, right? Then you can, if you want to get really fancy, you can then build a funnel, right? If they're watching your neighborhood content, and then you can say, anybody that watches the neighborhood content is then going to see this listing video content. And then I might just shoot a video that's an ad that asks them to book an appointment with me. There's so much more you can do that we don't really have time for here today, but that one campaign that we just went through, right? So I'm gonna get back out of this, back to that campaign, and I'll review it one quick more time. I'll hit edit. You retarget, you have your new people, and then you're only selecting these particular posts, right? This is set up to run at $10 a day right now, and this is $10 a day right now. If you only have 5 and 5, cool. If you've got 10 and 5, cool. But once you start, don't stop. Because if you start this and you do it for 2 weeks and you're like, yeah, but my business didn't grow in the past 2 weeks, you're not going to get any momentum. It's all about consistency, right? So find a budget you can commit to and just do it. Anybody that's done this has had a huge increase in their business. But the problem is, as most real estate agents, we don't commit to things for long term. We try something for 2 or 3 months, money might get tight, and we're like, I don't know if I want to do this. I had a down month. You can't stop. So pick a budget you can stick with for a year so you don't have to. Okay. So that's how to run ads to reach new people and retargeting all at the same time. If you only wanted to retarget your clients, all you would do is remove the new people ad set. And then you just simply run retargeting. You don't have to, you're like, I get plenty of organic reach. Totally cool with that. I don't need that. Then all you do is eliminate the ad set that said new people, and you only retarget the people that engage with your content. It's the same type of ad. It's just one less step. So I hope you guys found that valuable. I'm gonna open up to Q&A. Raise your hands. I'm sure there's probably a few questions in here. I see some in the chat. Raise your hand so I can just call on you and we can have a quick conversation. Jody, go for it.
Thanks, Will. So I had my Facebook personal account hacked. So I created recently a Facebook business page, but I have like 17 people on it. So is it still, do I still target, have to hook it up to?
You could probably leave that custom audience off because you just don't have anything there. So you can just ignore that as one of your custom audiences.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Edward.
Hey, Will. So understood the ad sets, making the copies, the duplicates, all that kind of stuff. How, well, I guess if you're posting 3 times a week, do you update those ad sets weekly, or how frequently are you changing those ad sets based off of the new content that you're posting?
Once a week. Once a week. So let's say you post this, like, let's say next week, right? Coming into next week, you got your content plan, you got your Monday drop from Haley and the team, and you're like, all right, I got Monday, Wednesday, Friday posts scheduled, done. Noon on Friday, you create this and you select the post from this week to run for an ad for the next week. And then as you post next week, you then create the ad again the following Friday. So you always have this ad running, reaching new people. So if they get reached by either the targeting or retargeting content, they see it, they're more likely to see the organic stuff you're posting next week as well, which gets you more organic reach. And then they also get retargeted again. Does that make sense?
Complete. Thank you.
Of course. All right, Nicole.
Hi, how are you? Sorry for the delay. Quick question. If you want to promote, say, to have it go to your YouTube channel, how would you do that?
So
or can you not do that?
You can. So you want to promote and send people to your YouTube channel. So tell me what's on your YouTube channel.
Just, I have a YouTube with my real estate, all my real estate videos, shorts and listings videos all in one place.
Okay. Shorts and listings. Is your YouTube channel set up for attracting organic followers, or do you use it as a YouTube ads channel?
I literally just have it set up. I have no idea.
Then don't send people to it.
Okay.
The only reason you would want to send traffic to YouTube from another social media platform is if it's more of either an ad specific channel where you're doing market updates and listing videos, and people are going to see, oh my God, she's got 30,000 views on this market update and 20,000 views on this listing, because you're trying to prop yourself up to be better known in your local market. That's one thing. Or if you're doing a home tour walkthrough channel of, let's say, new construction in a particular geographic area, and you just want more local people to see that content, then you could drive them to that. But the way you explain having your YouTube channel set up, you're like, it's just got some listings, it's got some of my other content on there. It doesn't sound like you have it set up one way or the other. So I think you might be wasting a little bit of money trying to send people to that platform using that. Typically, people that are on Facebook or Instagram are needing and wanting that shorter form content, and then sending them to a channel where you have 5, 10, 15-minute videos doesn't necessarily translate very well.
Got it. Okay. That answered my question. Okay. So then
what are you
just
trying to
keep
do
it
with your
strict.
YouTube channel? Do you want to grow it? Are you trying to attract people relocating? Are you trying to
Well,
grow more locally?
I want to grow it more locally within my farm because I do really, I do geo farm, but I actually did get my listing sold. They Googled where to live in Montrose, California, and my video popped up and they followed me and they contacted me and they ended up buying my listing.
Okay. What I would do in that case, you said
Yeah.
farming. YouTube is my favorite farming tool out there. One of my
Okay.
clients, Dave Archuleta in Rancho Mission Viejo, California, we set up his entire channel as an ad-only channel, and he gets 6 to 8 listings a month from that ad-only channel.
So
We
you
don't
have to, I
drive
have to
traffic
create.
from anywhere else. We specifically focus on YouTube, and usually 70% of the ads are showing up on people's TVs.
Okay, he does that route. Okay, so really
He
you
does.
have it changed as a YouTube ad. Okay, got it. Yeah, I've heard of it. Okay, great. That
Okay.
was really helpful. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. Lily, you're up next.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Of course.
Okay, thank you so much for this. I did have a quick question, or if you could just redirect me in the right way. When I was following your training, I noticed that like I wasn't able to actually do the ads. It was saying that I needed to set up like my business account. So I guess there must be something wrong with how I have my Facebook. I mean, my Instagram is linked to my Facebook, so I post on Instagram, it goes to Facebook. How do I fix this?
You need to go to the Meta Business Manager. Just go to Google, type in Meta Business Manager. It'll send you to the business account, and you'll probably have to create an ads account based off of your Facebook page. Because you weren't able to create it, that means you just don't have one of those ad accounts set up yet. Once you set up the ad account, they'll do a quick verification. You'll enter credit card information so they can bill you when you run ads. So you have like 1 or 2 extra steps to complete before you can actually do that. So I think it's business.meta.com. Yeah. I think that's what you can go to. And then you would have to create that ads account. And then once you do, you should be good to go.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Yeah, because when I tried following along with the customer list, it said your ad account. It says add your ad account to your business. So that's what it means.
Yeah. So you need to create. You can literally go and say create business manager ad account, and it comes up as like the first thing after the sponsored stuff, and it's a step-by-step instructions on how to do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I was afraid that I had to like make a whole new page or business profile or something.
No, you just haven't finished the setup for that yet. It'll probably take less than 30 minutes to get it all set up.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That was the last hand I saw raised. Any final questions before we wrap up here today? Looks like we knocked this out right in an hour. Anything else? No?
Well, if you have some extra time, there were some questions in the chat that I maybe wanted to read out.
Sure.
Let's see. KK said, I can't remember if you said this, but what do you choose as the prompt on the ad? Visit profile. This was a little bit into your tutorial.
No, well, there's no button, right? So there is no prompt. So like no button. You don't want it to look like an ad. You want it to just look like organic content is showing up. So you don't want them to hit a button or anything.
Okay. Perfect. Jody asked, do the ads show up as sponsored?
Yes, they will show up as sponsored with that little tiny text above the name. Or below the name, actually. Yes.
Cool. Thank you. And then there was someone wondering if this applies to the personal profile or if it has to be a business profile when you're in Meta.
So interesting. Your personal profile can be set up as a professional account now. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that. If you do that, it will post there, and that's fine. You still have to have a Facebook page attached to the account, but like my personal profile, like it looks like it's just me and my family and stuff. I do have it set up as a professional account in case I wanted to target that audience, but I choose to kind of keep that separate for me personally. I like that to be my like family safe space versus like Instagram and the business page and more of the business side of things. So it's a personal decision, but yes, you can switch to that professional account and run ads behind that.
Perfect. And then from the very beginning, you asked if people have pixels set up on their website. One asked what a pixel is, and two, I think someone asked what about a StanStore link.
Okay.
That was a little deep.
I don't think a pixel will work on a StanStore link. I use StanStore myself. Actually, let me check my StanStore and see. I don't think you can do that, but you might be able to. Let me see. You don't, but you can request that integration. So my dashboard says you can request. So I have mine integrated with Zoom, Google Calendar, Zapier, and a couple other tools. I bet you could request that Pixel integration and be able to do it. If you don't know what a pixel is, go to Google and say, what's a Facebook pixel? And they come, like, the first thing that comes up is instructions on how to get it. It's the same thing as if you don't have an ads account, you have to be in the business manager side, and you're going to say, where do I create a pixel? It comes up with this nice, easy description on how to create it.
Sweet. That covers everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I hope you guys got value out of this, and go kick butt.
That was awesome. Thanks, Will.
Of course.